Amici all'ascolto di Radio Monte Carlo, buongiorno da Filippo Firli e Rosaria Renna. Io ho la salivazione azzerata, non so se
davvero?
riuscirò a parlare, non dico in inglese ma neanche in italiano, capisci che è andata così. Buongiorno, benvenuti Simon Le Bon, Nick Rhodes, Duran Duran.
Ciao
guys.
Italia. Oh, okay, enough.
Abbiamo il
Molto
Duran
utile.
Duran in studio con noi, in due come noi. How guys are you doing?
How are
you
we
have
doing?
some
You look
relation?
very nice.
We've been working
Yes.
at it for the last 7 hours,
Allora si sono preparati nelle ultime
doing each
7 ore.
other's makeup. No, we have a fantastic makeup artist. Her name's Gaia. She's somewhere around and she's amazing.
You
Allora c'è
look
questa Gaia che è
amazing.
una fantastica truccatrice che a questo punto vorrei avere io. Abbiamo appena ascoltato una delle vostre canzoni che noi amiamo di più, che è Save a Prayer, da un album che è stato una pietra miliare, un capolavoro, che è Rio, insomma una delle ballate più belle di tutti i tempi. E io sono curiosa di sapere oggi loro, visto che sono artisti in continua evoluzione, che cosa pensano riguardando insomma quei ragazzi in quei tempi. We've just listened to Save a Prayer, one of the most from your masterpiece Rio, one of the most beautiful ballad ever for us. And we were thinking, what do you think of those boys? Because you are artists always evolving. And
When you say those boys, do you mean
Yes.
those boys who
You
made that
in the
record
in the 80s.
At Wembley Stadiums,
44 years ago?
Stadiums, in the Blue Mood, in this awesome video.
I think probably we knew what we were doing. It's the beauty of youth. You know, sometimes you don't think about something too much. You just follow a path and you think that's what we can do. This is what we want to offer, and you don't question yourself. And at that point, we were certainly the five of us that were in the band very focused together. We knew what it was that we wanted to create. And when you're an artist of any type, I think that only happens so many times in your career. You always try to be completely at the top of everything you're doing, but at certain moments things come together. Wow. And they did for during the Rio album and the song Save a Prayer.
it was the same for you, Simon?
I
È
mean,
stato lo
yeah,
stesso?
everything that Nick said, I agree with. But I look back at us in 1982, and I look back, and it makes me smile because we were innocent, we were driven, but we had no idea of what was going to happen.
Wow.
None, you know. And I, you know, I have a deep affection for those boys, and still do.
Yeah. And so we...
A proposito di questo, Simon, tutto è cambiato nel corso di questi anni dal punto di vista musicale, dal punto di vista storico. Siete una band che riesce ancora a stare insieme. Abbiamo visto anche Sanremo con grande entusiasmo. Everything is changed since you started your extraordinary career. You're still together after all these years with an incredible, huge success. It seems you're still having fun. Is this the secret? The energy, the enthusiasm.
It's really important when you're in a band to keep things light, because there are going to be times when life gets difficult, when the work gets difficult, when you are so tired from traveling, from playing shows, you just feel like jumping off the bridge. But you learn to laugh. Humor and happiness gets you through it, and we rely on each other, and we make each other laugh a lot. You know, that's everybody in the band's got a very highly developed sense of humor.
Dicono che serva in una coppia, probabilmente anche in una band è necessario. Nick, can you say something more, because it was a beautiful answer.
Yeah, I think that's right. We take care of each other. It always amazes us as a band when we encounter other bands, or we hear that people don't even speak to each other and they have to have separate dressing rooms, and they only enter the stage together and then they get off and they leave. It doesn't make any sense, because for what we do, it's all about our team. It's all about our unit and us all trying to drive each other to be that little bit better. And it's a healthy, competitive thing when we're writing songs, when we're performing, where we all want it to be the most special thing we can ever make it. And that's what's kept us together. We like working with each other. We can all do things on our own, but actually it's not the same energy as when you've got people pulling in every different direction to make something that's got more tension. And that's what happens with bands. It's different than solo artists. And now most of the artists out there are more solo artists and
very
divas, very, very, very different than when we started.
I'm going to ask you something about Sanremo.
Great, it's our favorite subject.
Insomma, è una cosa che loro amano, è il loro soggetto
we don't call
preferito.
it Sanremo. We call it Duran Remo.
Duran Remo, that's okay, per me va bene anche per tutti gli ascoltatori.
We find it fantastic.
Dobbiamo cambiare il nome, no, because you have a special connection with our country, all our country. Italy loves you and you know that. How it was to be on Sanremo stage again, 40 years later than the last one, for the
no,
fifth...
40 years after the first
one, sorry, fifth time in
No,
Sanremo.
it's great there. I mean, it's mad. It's completely mad, and there's this kind of there's a mixture of craziness, hysteria, competence, incompetence, all mixed up together, isn't it? And you just have to keep really cool and relaxed yourself, and that's how you get through it.
Did you?
Yeah, it's an institution in Italy, isn't it? I think when you're not from Italy, as you know, we're obviously from the UK. It's a little strange looking at it because we don't quite understand exactly what the show is. It's sort of a competition. We know, of course, we know all the things about it. But the fact that it's been there for over half a century and that everyone in the country seems to watch this thing every year, that in itself is extraordinary. We remember Pippo Baudo.
Yes.
And Pippo Baudo's daughter always used to come and say hello to us.
Ah, sì, la figlia di Pippo Baudo.
Hello again, if you're listening. And the
Tiziana.
host this time was great.
Tiziana Baudo.
Tiziana Baudo.
Exactly.
Tiziana.
Yes.
Baudo.
If you're listening, Tiziana, this one's for you.
Wow.
Well,
And so I think the show has developed. Now it's much more sophisticated in many ways than it used to be, but it's still got that thing that you only have in Italy where it's fun, it's a little bit crazy. When we were arriving at the hotel in Sanremo, it was like something out of a Fellini movie. I've never seen so many people with microphones and cameras, but that's sort of why we love Italy too. It's a queue in England. We queue for things. In Italy, we were discussing this the other day. That actually a queue is really a crowd.
Yes.
A crowd all focused on one point.
Yeah, exactly. But it somehow works, and we love that chaos that just somehow is nice and easy. And
Samo, restando a Sanremo, uno dei momenti più belli è stato quando ti ha raggiunto sul palco Victoria De Angelis. Avete fatto un numero straordinario. One of the most amazing moments when was Victoria De Angelis joined you on stage for Psycho Killer. How did you discover her?
We were. I'm a fan of Eurovision. I mean, I find it very entertaining. It doesn't. It's not always the best music, but it makes me smile. And I'm watching this show, and it's incredible. It's a band from Italy comes on, and they win the competition, and it's Maneskin. So I've been aware of them ever since that. And there was something very... You knew that this was an act which had some real depth to it, and there's something really good going on. So we kept an eye on them. And I think John was the guy who really brought Vic in to play on Psycho Killer on the album when we made the Danse Macabre album. And she did a great job on that. And she really made it sound like her, especially with the ay. You know, so we're very proud to have her on the record. And obviously coming to Italy, the opportunity sort of presented itself to us, and we desperately wanted to get her to come on stage and perform with us.
È stata veramente pazzesca. It was amazing to see you there with her. Avete dato qualche consiglio, visto che mi sembra che voi di essere in una band ne sapete qualcosa? Did you get her some advice? Because I think you know something about being in a band.
Well, I don't know that she needs any advice. She's great. She's got an amazing energy. You know, I think that's very important if you want to perform and you want to create things together. Energy. It's a very difficult thing to quantify, but actually it's a part of optimism. It's being there. It's being excited about things. It's finding new ways to do things. And with her, when she came on stage, it was like an extra bit of electricity had just been plugged in.
Into us.
Yeah.
Because you saw us before. We were doing our stuff, performing our songs. As soon as Victoria came on, we all kind of perked up and there was more energy in us. She really affected us.
Yes.
Yeah, because it makes you smile when you see someone who's coming on going, right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this right and it's going to look great, it's going to sound great. And so I think that's important. And that Maneskin certainly have that. I do hope that their sabbatical isn't too long because they're worth it.
Amazing. Amazing number.
Thank you.
Adesso parliamo un pochino del tour. You'll be in tour next June in Rome, Bari and Milan, quindi saranno Roma, Milano e Bari. What kind of show you're going to prepare? What should we expect from the show? Cosa dobbiamo aspettarci dalle date italiane?
Well, I would hope it's absolutely spectacular and the best thing that anyone has ever seen in their entire lifetimes. But we'll try our best.
The best concert ever.
Wow.
We always look at things that fit for the time period, where we are, where we're going in Italy. It's always uplifting, joy, energy again, and it'll feature songs from throughout our entire catalogue for sure.
I saw somebody forwarded an email to us. Did you see from the Italian? I think it's an Italian fan, a guy saying, "Can you get the guys to do some different songs this time? We've really had enough of the Reflex and Wild Boys and White Lines." And I thought, try doing a show without doing Wild Boys.
Yeah,
Anyway.
some you have to keep in, obviously, because there's always somebody in the audience, even though some members maybe have seen it a few times, there's always somebody in the audience that's new and hasn't seen it. So, I can't believe they didn't play that song. So we try and strike a balance.
It's always like that. È sempre così.
Without trying to make too much work for ourselves.
No. You made a wonderful work in your life because avete fatto un lavoro straordinario, perché i Duran Duran hanno venduto milioni di copie, sono nella Hall of Fame, hanno la propria stella sulla Walk of Fame e ora questa nuova avventura, 2 profumi con Xerjoff, che è un brand italiano di fragranze artistiche, e siamo curiosi di sapere com'è nata questa collaborazione. Duran Duran sold millions of records worldwide. You are in the Hall of Fame. You have your personal own star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. Now a new adventure. 2 perfumes with the Xerjoff, the Italian brand of artistic fragrances. How this collaboration started?
I think it actually started a few years ago due to Simon's wife, Yasmin, who happens to be
wonderful Yasmin.
She happens to be one of our greatest ambassadors and has been ever since Simon first met her. And she had met Sergio from Xerjoff at a party, at an event, and they'd got talking, and she'd mentioned that we were keen on fragrances, and she'd sowed some seeds. Well, anyway, those seeds stuck with Sergio, and a couple of years later, somehow through synchronicity, the stars aligned, and Leonie, who works with us in our office, started a conversation with Xerjoff about possibly doing some very special collaboration with perfumes created by Xerjoff for Duran Duran.
And I got back from the meeting, the first meeting that we had about the subject, and I said to Yasmin, "Hey, there's this guy called Sergio. He makes perfumes. He wants to do a collaboration with us." And Yas goes, "He's my friend, not yours."
You are still in my friend, cioè gli ha rubato l'amico praticamente alla moglie Yasmin.
Come siete stati coinvolti voi nella creazione di queste fragranze? How do you actually been involved in the creation of these fragrances?
Well, not in the stage of putting the stuff together, but we used our noses.
Wow.
Our noses were very involved. In fact, it was particularly myself, Nick, and Sergio. We became the Society of Noses, or if you like, a noseciety. Nosiety.
It was actually a really exciting thing to do, new for us. But we, particularly Simon and I, are keen on fragrances. And Sergio taught us a lot about the structure of a perfume and how it's made and where you start with different elements and asked what kind of smells, what scents that we were interested in and what kind of feeling we wanted the perfume to have, and for some words for inspiration and what other things we liked. And somehow, from the initial sketches, Sergio went away with his team and then brought back the next round of things and said, "Try these different scents. Which ones do you like?" And Simon and I went through everything, and we made lists and ticked things off.
Yeah.
It was
and
really
we
fascinating.
actually really agreed on a lot of stuff, didn't we?
Yeah. It's almost like being in a band.
Yeah, but we the one that we picked as the foundation for Black Moonlight, we both of us arrived at exactly the same point independently.
Yeah. So it was really a fascinating process, great learning curve for us, and we're so thrilled with what we've managed to achieve with the two final results. It's something very special, I think.
Uno dei due si chiama Neo Rio e mi piacerebbe insomma che loro lo introducessero gli ascoltatori di Radio Monte Carlo. One of the fragrance is Neo Rio. How does it smell?
How does it smell? Okay, Neo Rio. It smells like you just walked out of the house into the most amazing summer. The air's just right. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. There are beautiful people. There are beautiful animals. There's life in the street or on the beach, if you like it. If you like to take it on the beach, it's just about a sort of summery, warm energy.
Wow.
For me?
I'm dreaming.
Amazing.
Oh, well, you
Sto
see, for me,
sognando.
it's about just waking up out of a psychedelic dream and then seeing everything turn to even brighter colours.
bright.
And then shadows coming out of there that just sort of overwhelm you with joy.
And in this mood,
Io lo voglio provare.
Esatto,
I
anch'io
want
lo-
to try this.
We bite immediately. A proposito di fragranze, tra poco ascolteremo Black Moonlight, che è proprio il pezzo che stiamo per ascoltare da Dance Macabre. Quando indossiamo più che altro Black Moonlight, dove ci porta questa fragranza? One of the fragrances is Black Moonlight, like the song we are going to listen to. If I wear Black Moonlight and I close my eyes, where it brings me?
So do you want to? Okay, so
Simon.
Black Moonlight. It's a surprise. It's like you're walking down this street. It's getting darker. The night's coming in, and you look down and there's a little alleyway on your right hand side. So you wander down the alleyway, and that takes you around a corner, and then you're at this entrance of it looks really interesting. It's like kind of gothic, and you open the door and you go down some steps, and you go into the most amazing nightclub.
Wow.
The music is incredible. The people are so attractive. I mean, I'm not talking but I am talking.
We want to
I'm
name
talking.
also the name of the
There's a
song.
lot of stuff, a lot of tingling going on all over your body.
Wow.
That's what it's like.
Ok, volevo dire al pubblico che non lo ha visto che si sta indicando, dice a proposito di gente attraente, insomma.
Grande.
Nick, vuoi aggiungere qualcosa?
Yeah, I think it is about attraction. I agree with that. It's there's something about it. We wanted it to be magnetic. So it's whatever it is that you're trying to attract in life. Hopefully, this brings it to you.
Yeah.
It's got a mystery to it, a little darkness, but darkness in a sort of dusky light. Something that isn't. There's nothing frightening about it. It's actually very inviting, and I don't know. To me, this one is as if you're still in the dream, and then you wake up and think, "Wow, that smells good."
And may we hope some new music for the
Soon.
first soon.
Oh, we always hope for new music. When we go to the studio, we just sort of look up and go, "Where is it? Come to us, come down." We are going to go in the studio actually in March, sometime March, April, and we're going to work on an album that we worked on. It was the last thing we did with our ex-guitarist Andy Taylor. We're going to piece it back together.
Yeah.
It was a record called Reportage that never came out around 2007. So it's about 18 years ago. So it'll be interesting to see what we find. And we also have one other song that we actually did at the same time when we wrote Black Moonlight with Nile Rodgers. There's one other song that we did then that's in pieces, but we're going to try to pull that together before the summer, which would be very exciting for us if we can do that.
Ci ha raggiunto un grande amico di Simon e Nick, che è Sergio Momo, il fondatore e direttore creativo di Xerjoff. Benvenuto.
Ciao
Benvenuto
a tutti.
Sergio. Perché dopo aver venduto milioni di dischi, insomma, dopo il grande successo in tutto il mondo, stanno per affrontare questa nuova avventura che è proprio il lancio di 2 fragranze diverse. E allora a Sergio chiedo com'è nata questa collaborazione. How did you start your collaboration with Duran Duran?
Well, collaboration started actually a little bit more than 1 year ago. Physically, I mean, in person, but everything started actually a few years ago because Simon's wife, Jasmine, was sat next to me during an event in London, and we start talking obviously about various things, and we ended up talking about perfume, and the passion of Simon and Duran Duran for perfume just struck me. And so that was the topic of the evening a few years ago. So that stuck in my mind. I said, well, one day I would like to, whenever, who knows.
Allora praticamente, aspetta, facciamo un pezzetto alla volta. No,
Certamente, quindi un po' di anni fa, dunque diciamo la collaborazione vera e propria è durata più o meno 1 anno, poco più. Però il contatto è nato un po' di anni fa, dove durante un evento a Londra io ero casualmente seduto di fianco a Jasmine, la moglie di Simon, e abbiamo parlato di tante cose, anche di profumi, e quindi è venuta fuori questa passione di Simon e di Duran Duran per i profumi, e quindi era un qualcosa che mi è rimasto così in mente. E poi
da 1 anno invece è nata proprio la collaborazione
poi ci sono state le connessioni che hanno fatto sì che questa cosa succedesse, quindi.
A proposito di questo, a proposito di connessione, come è stato in qualche modo far sentire anche la loro opinione rispetto al progetto? How do you actually think that the creation was the most important part of your prize judging?
Well, I'd say that the band knew exactly that they wanted to do an extraordinary work, but it's something that we built together. Obviously, I started to make a lot of questions. We met many times in different.
The famous pyramid.
Quindi è una collaborazione che è nata da una passione, ovviamente, che è stata guidata da me dall'inizio, e quindi ho chiesto loro moltissime domande, ho fatto delle domande per cercare di capire che cos'è che avessero in mente, sia dal punto di vista emozionale che quello olfattivo.
Is he telling the truth? Sta dicendo la verità, Nick Simon?
Is he telling the truth?
Yeah, the
No,
truth.
he's a big fat liar.
È un grande bugiardo.
E allora vogliamo la vostra versione. What's
Of course
your
he's telling
version
the
of the
truth.
story?
Yeah,
it's
of course he is.
It's
It's
Yeah,
true,
yeah,
it's true.
completely.
Okay,
I mean, we had a fantastic time working together with Sergio. Just it was fascinating. Just going through the way that a perfume is made. So many things that we didn't know before, and what really surprised me was how much work goes in. Because when you're creating anything, a perfume, a song, a film, the end result, you want it to look completely effortless, so that it just looks perfect and nobody thinks about anything that happened before then. But actually, when you know what really happens, and even making the glass and the top for the bottle and the logo and how you refine every detail, that's months of work. The perfume itself, it's extraordinary, the details, because some elements that are in the perfume come from one city in one country. Some come from another. Then somehow they have to be blended. And then when they're put together, they have to be sent somewhere else to settle the blend. And all this stuff that we learned, absolutely amazing the way that it works. But to get to the end product, and then you actually get it, as we finally did today, actually, well, a few days ago now. And to get it and realize that you've got to that point and it's just what you really wanted it to be, that's something super special.
Absolutely. It's been an emotional process, as well as multisensorial, like I like to call it, because like Nick just said, with the band, it wasn't just a matter of creating the perfume, but all the look and feel of the product. So the graphic, the packaging, the color. So it was kind of a full project brought forward in a little bit over than 12 months together. Quindi sì, è stato, come facciamo sempre nel nostro mondo, un progetto ovviamente olfattivo ed emozionale, perché questo è quello che è il profumo. Però con loro, con i Duran Duran, è stato un progetto che abbiamo portato avanti anche dal punto di vista che a me piace chiamare multisensoriale, perché non era solo un progetto olfattivo con loro, ma è anche un progetto proprio finalizzato al look and feel, cioè proprio al packaging, al flacone, ai dettagli, ai colori, che abbiamo condiviso per rappresentare questa band famosissima internazionale.
Uno dei due profumi è Neo Rio, no? Veramente molto esplosivo. Volevo praticamente sapere a che cosa ti sei ispirato, che cosa ti hanno detto
Chiediamolo
loro.
anche a loro,
Certo.
magari, diteci a cosa vi siete ispirati tutti.
What about one of the fragrances called Neo Rio? How does it smell like?
It smells like this. Actually, it smells like it's summer to me. It's like a massive hit of summertime, fruity, flowery, with that kind of lovely beachy, warm air, swirling around, having a good time.
It's bright, colourful, uplifting, attractive, makes you smile, but it's also got quite a sensual.
So colorful, happiness.
It's got a real green tinge to it, like
Pink.
almost like a grass.
Definitely pink.
Pink. No.
Stanno litigando sul colore.
but Nick, in your world, the grass is pink.
Nel mondo di Nick l'erba è rosa e invece in quello di Simon è verde. Sergio cosa dice? Sergio Mommo cosa dice? Che colore hanno? Ragione tutti e
Xerjoff.
due?
Assolutamente sì. Diciamo che mi piacerebbe partire a dire che i progetti sono due.
Sì.
Quindi Neo Rio rappresenta una parte della storia di Duran Duran. E quindi è rappresentata ad esempio esattamente come ha descritto Nick e Simon dal punto di vista olfattivo, degli ingredienti e del colore. Quindi questo è un universo. Quindi yes.
This is one universe, one part of Duran Duran Neo Rio.
Correct.
The other one is Black Moonlight. Quindi un altro universo, un altro profumo.
Another universe, another chapter. Yes. So I think that we have tried to tell the story of Duran Duran with two main chapters of their career, and we're looking forward to the next 40 years. Yeah, Chad?
Yeah.
It is. It's very
Only
much like
40?
It's very much
That's what
like
I
that,
said.
though. It's an A side and a B side. The perfumes. It's the light and the dark. It's the mysterious and the bright, colourful. I think we have managed to achieve that.
Molto bello, i profumi sono bellissimi, quindi direi che è una collaborazione insomma fruttuosa per tutti, no?
Assolutamente sì. It's been great fun because beautiful thing, artistic thing needs to be done with fun.
Sì. Il divertimento è essenziale.
E siamo riusciti a fare esattamente quello, quindi ci siamo divertiti, abbiamo fatto delle creazioni meravigliose e penso che il risultato sia quello che ci aspettavamo.
A special thanks to Jasmine for the first meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Allora, grazie a Sergio Momo, che è fondatore e direttore creativo di Xerjoff, che ha presentato insieme a Duran Duran questi due profumi, questi due progetti, Black Moonlight e Neo Rio. Thank you very much for sharing with us your ideas about perfumes and the perfumes itself.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you to
guys.
Duran
Thank you.
Duran.
Thank you, Sergio.
Grazie.